We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can. Oh, your neighbor over there, a bit bewildered, but he cares.
Welcome to Changing Our World. I'm Linda Weltner, and I'm here with Dr. Stem Mahlatini, who is a psychologist, a lecturer, an author, and she has written 24 books? Yes, 24 books. But the latest two are called Unstoppable, one for teenagers and one for women, which is the group of people that she works around the world with. So we're going to talk about that theory. But first, I want to find out about Dr. Stem, which is what she likes to be called, yes. Dr. Stem, and her philosophy. Where were you born?
I was born in Zimbabwe, Harare, Zimbabwe, in Africa.
Now, I have heard from you, of course, that you were not a good student and that you weren't considered pretty. And here you are teaching about self-confidence. What was it like? Tell us a little bit about that childhood.
I grew up in a little city called Kambuzuma in Harare, in Zimbabwe. And I'm the firstborn of 7 children. So hello, everyone. And especially my parents, I have to give them the credit, Benjamin and Ida Mahlatini. Growing up in Kambuzuma, I went to a school, primary school, Wadzanai and Kurai primary schools. And at that time, people used to tease me when I was in school, and I used to cry a lot. I was a crybaby. Everybody would say something, and then I would cry. You know, people would look at me the wrong way, then I would cry. And my self-esteem was very low, talking about self-esteem.
And you were thin?
I was very skinny. It's not even thin, skinny. So when people call you skinny, it's even more hurtful than being called thin for me. Yeah. So I was very skinny and tall. So I used to walk like this here so that I wouldn't be taller than my peers that I was walking around, because then they would be like, oh, you're too skinny. So I always used to walk like this here, and what that does too, it buries what's inside of you, because now you're
folded in.
Yes, you're folded in.
And you weren't an outstanding student?
I was actually in the top 10. That much, at least I was good. I was in the top 10. And then from grade 1 to grade 5, then from 5, we have grades over there, grade 5 to 7, I became, in the top 5, but I think what happened at home was also affecting me, because then we were not the richest people, mediocre, so there was a lot of problems that we were having as far as being hungry and, having to go to the fields. So that takes away from you studying sometimes.
And your mother didn't do anything professional, right?
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Did you have any models of successful women who were like entrepreneurs or anything?
No, not growing up. I don't remember. The women were, at home, rearing the babies and being wives, and that's what I remember during my time.
And when you were, say, in middle school or high school, what was your dream? What did you want to be when you grew up?
I always wanted to be a doctor. And I didn't know what kind of a doctor, but I just wanted the name DR for doctor.
Had you ever been to a doctor, a female doctor?
Not female doctors, they were male doctors, but it's a prestigious thing to be a lawyer or a doctor.
You like the title.
So
you wanted a title.
There you go. So, and then, with the title came the money. I believed that if you do that, then you will get more money. So I thought, you know what, I'll be a doctor and I'll have more money and I'll be rich.
So how you went to high school,
yeah.
And where did you go after that?
When I was in high school, I went to Chaplain High School and Mutare Girls High School and St. Augustine's Mission. I went to 3 because there was war, and then at some point I had to be transferred to another school, to continue my education for safety. But as I was telling you before, I was not really good student where at some point I would say, even though I'm in the top 10, that it was consistent. So my teachers used to tell me that I was a jack on the fence, because I get 50% and that's a C minus or, sometimes C plus. So with that, I had to work hard to make sure that I don't fall off and fail, because then I had to get off the fence that they were saying, but I wanted a 52, a 55, and, be able to be successful. So I applied to come here to the United States to go to college, and my uncle, who's a reverend for the United Methodist Church, helped me to find a place in Rapid City, South Dakota, and come to school.
So you went from Zimbabwe to South Dakota. It must have been a little bit of a cultural shock.
It was a cultural shock, but so began my world of becoming unstoppable and opening my eyes up to what was possible and what I can do. Because among all those people that were were laughing at me, and I wasn't a nobody, and I thought I wouldn't make it in life, here I was in Rapid City, South Dakota, as country and laid back as it is in Rapid City. I was in the United States of America, the land of opportunity, and I was not going to let that go without me getting something out of it.
So the first accomplishment that you had under your belt was that you had gotten accepted in a Western college and that you had come here. Were you nervous? Were you scared?
My father, bless his heart, and my mother, they never let us go anywhere where they haven't been or one of them could accompany us. So my father came with me to the United States to go to college in Rapid City, South Dakota, because he had never traveled anywhere. Both my parents had never traveled out of the country. We both came here, and we came in a week early before all the students. So it was very quiet, but there was a matron who was in the dormitories preparing, all the dormitories for where we were going to stay. So my dad says, well, where are the students? She says, oh, they're not going to be here until a week from now, but you can leave her, she'll be okay. And he says, no, I'll take her back, and then she can come when the other students are here. So I went all the way back home to Zimbabwe with him. And then when the other students, were the following week, I flew back in now so that I could be at school.
With your father again?
No.
Or no? He had seen
He had seen the
he
places.
Wanted to check it out.
He wanted to check it out.
But you didn't know anyone.
I didn't know anyone. He didn't know anyone, and we just went to.
And you spoke English.
I spoke English.
And did you fit in that first year? Did you feel you belonged?
I felt I belonged because I had 3 girls. There was 4. We were 2 bunk beds.
Yeah.
So I was in the bottom one, and there was another girl there, and the 2 girls over there. They were very friendly, to me, and I was scared.
Were they from foreign countries or Americans?
They were American. One was from Chicago, and 2 were from California.
Okay.
So I guess they were happy people that were just, they are not Northerners that.
Yeah, and sophisticated too.
They embraced me, and I'm always laughing, and I was friendly. But when I came in, I wrote me in my book, which is my memoir, Beyond the Tears, Bruised but Not Broken, was my memoir that I wrote. And in that book,
Tell me the name again.
Beyond the Tears.
Beyond the Tears.
Bruised but Not Broken.
Aha, bruised but not broken. That's excellent. Yeah, okay.
So I spoke in there. There's one incident where I talk about being in Rapid City, South Dakota at National College, and I was working in an office. And one of the ladies said, I want to talk to you. And when she called me in the office, she says, I don't know how to tell you this, but I want to help you out. There's an order that you have that is different from us. I know. And she says, I don't know what soap you're using. I was using soap from Zimbabwe that I brought. But, the smells are different.
Yes.
So then it wasn't smelling good. So she says, I don't know whether it's the soap or the perfume. And I had perfume that was from there. I don't know if it was. But I say this story to say how much courage it takes for that one lady to say, everybody else is going, she's not smelling good, and here you are, as a child,
that
and
was
you're thinking.
Wonderful
so
of her
she
to
told me to throw
you.
out everything that I had brought from home, and she bought me new soap, new perfumes, and I took that, and I was so embarrassed, and I didn't know what to do, because then everybody, I'm like, everybody thinks I was smelling, but I didn't know, but there's nothing I'm doing. I wash every day, and people go through lives with those experiences and being embarrassed now and shut themselves out from new opportunities because of what what happened. And that's why I say, yes, you're bruised. Your ego is bruised. And of course, your self-worth is bruised. But then what do you do with that information? I chose to look back and thank that woman that, had the courage to tell me. I chose to take that experience and now teach other people to say, you know what, we all have a story that at some point you're embarrassed about, right, you're shy about, but you don't have to let that, shut your confidence down. And, what it is that you can do with your life because of those experiences that help, you can take those and thrive beyond those tears.
Now, one of the things you've said is that it takes a village to be unstoppable. And here's a woman in your village who looked out for you and set you on a path which could have been disastrous.
Yeah. So when you talk about the village, let's also, understand that, in my village, which means in my experience, because the village is your experience and your life experience. Because now I was in America.
Yeah.
I was at Rapid City, South Dakota, when this lady called me in her office and told me that, you know what, I know you're coming from home, but there's something that you use there. I don't know what it is,
yeah,
but you might want to change it. And she went and bought that stuff for me. So, yes, she's part of that village that molded me and helped me to now get over that,
yeah,
incident and be able to teach other people to say, yes, people will tease you, you'll be bullied and you'll be abused, but there's a certain point where you look at yourself and say, okay, is this helping me or hurting me, this experience? Yeah. If it's hurting you, you have a choice to, take that and say, I'm not going to take this with me to my next level in my life.
Oh. Yeah.
And I'm learning from
Let
it,
it go.
and I'll
Yeah,
I'll build my confidence, and I'll walk through life, knowing that I have an experience, but it's not holding me back.
Now, was your education in Zimbabwe adequate to the school, or were you struggling in the beginning, academically?
You mean myself academically? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was struggling.
That must have been hard, because I'm sure they didn't teach you there what American kids learn here.
Well, it's, what, we have better education than you guys.
Really?
Because ours is British.
Oh,
so it's, a person from here cannot write those exams in Zimbabwe and pass them, because then we learn like on the surface over here. So I'll tell you why, because then I was a C average student there. I mean, a lot of perseverance and determination obviously helped, because I was determined to succeed. But I came here and, graduated with a 4.0, because then now I would do my homework, I would write my papers, I would research, and nothing would stop me from getting good grades. And
I apologize for assuming that our education, that is one of this American exceptionalism. We're always the best in everything when we are not.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so let me ask, how did this term unstoppable pop into your head? Where did it come from? It's such a wonderful phrase.
And do you know, I've been here for 32 years. And I've written books, The Power of Prayer, It's Time to Shift from Fear to Faith. And I have written Build Your Confidence and Become Unstoppable. I've, different titles of, helping me to build my own confidence and become successful. But 2 years ago, I looked at my life and my bank account is not reflecting all this work that I've done and that I'm continuing to do to work with women, empower women, motivate women, encourage women.
And let me just mention that one of the things that you do is give keynote speeches and conferences all around the world, and lead groups, right?
I train. I'm a trainer as well.
And a trainer. And plus she does phone interviews if people can't get nearby. And she also has a podcast. So if you go to Dr. Stem Podcast, you will be able to listen to some inspirational speeches, and you sing gospel songs.
I don't sing. I actually play gospel songs.
Oh, okay. Okay, not your voice.
Yeah,
all right.
I wish I could.
And other inspirational things, so that she's sort of got the whole package here. It's not just books.
Yes.
But, okay, so you were saying that your bank account didn't reflect.
The bank account didn't reflect that. And I'm doing, and then I wasn't reaching as many people as I would like to,
Yes.
besides even the bank account, but just to be able to, go out there and empower more people and help other people to realize, that it's possible for them to
Yeah.
be whoever that they're passionate about. So what happened was I went to get trained as a passion test facilitator. And what that is, I know you were saying it the first, it's just like, I want to know what that is.
Yes.
We all have passions, but people need help to
Fine.
recognize
A
and
lot of
find
people
it.
don't know what the heck they really love.
Yes. So we actually, have a training that we were trained where I can work with you and assess where you are with your life, the things that you like, the things that you don't like.
With a
and help you
questionnaire?
with a questionnaire and counseling, coaching that
Okay.
that I can do to help you to determine what will be on your top 5 passions, the top 5 things that you want. And then from those top 5, we also, look at them and see the top 2 until you come to the very first one that you say, you know what, if I sleep today and just wake up in the morning and somebody says, hey, what would you want to do? And I get to do this for the rest of my life, I'm good. I'll be happy, I'll be at peace with myself, and I know I'll do well, because when you do something that you're passionate about, that bank account will reflect, without you even
Right.
looking at it, because you're enjoying what you're doing. So that's what I realized. And when I came back from doing that, I was ready, and I thought I would be, conquer the world, I'll do everything, but I still wasn't doing it. And I said, what is the difference? Why am I not having the courage to get up now and do what I want to do and be out there? And I realized that confidence plays a big part in those that make it and those that are still thinking that, I know I can, but I don't know what I need to do the next step, because I have so many trainings behind my belt that you would not have thought that I was afraid, and I didn't think that I was afraid to go out there.
But you know what? There's a confidence that says, well, I can succeed in Salem, and I can succeed because these people are calling me for conferences, but I could never be an Oprah.
Yes.
I could never be a national figure.
Yes.
And that's very common, that you can be a big frog in a little pond, but you can't make that leap to, could I be a big frog in a big pond?
And what helped me was one more seminar. I've gone to multitudes of seminars. One more seminar I went, it's called I Can Do It. There's an author, Louise Hay, that does I Can Do It seminars. Just the saying, I can do it. And at that time, I was in Orlando, Florida for that seminar. I came out of there saying, yes, I can, I can do it, like that train. Yes, I can, yes, I can. And then I said, you know what? I want to be unstoppable. I just want to go out there and just do it. Why can't I just go and just do it? And just write the books, sell the books, and do what I need to do. And it just became a thing, a mantra.
Into a bigger stage, because you'd written the
Yes.
books, you've got everything on the internet, but how do you
Get out there.
get beyond that? Well, you've got to have guts, and you've got to have confidence.
As always, I started writing again. I started writing a book called Unstoppable.
So you wrote it for yourself.
For myself, but I wrote it for that young me that was being teased by those other people, that was crying because people didn't want to hang out with me, that was, that had all this responsibility of being the firstborn in the family, expecting you to do well all the time and cannot let your guard down and make mistakes and know that it's okay for you to make those mistakes, that saw, mother crying because father had gone on and married someone and next one because of polygamy, and here she was staying. So all those things I wrote for that young me, that little me, and I wrote Unstoppable for the teenagers, which was, it's a guide for building your confidence for the young one. So I started writing that one. When I wrote that, I did a workbook. My goal with that one, which is still the goal today, is to have a class that is taught in the school system, so students can just learn about how do I take all this stuff that is happening in my life that I have no control over and find my way to build myself, so that I can build myself with things that I can control, because they have to be in these environments that they have no control over, but that's building their self-esteem and self-worth. And
when you think of it, where else but in school should you learn what your passion is? And people get out of high school, they get out of college, they still don't know what they want to do or what they
isn't that the
like.
thing? Because you ask them, you say, you're going to college, congratulations. Yes. I said, what are you going to do? I'm going to college. I know. But what are you going to be? I don't know. And I go, you
Right.
don't know? It's $300,000 you're going to spend in the next 4 years. You don't know? And they honestly don't know. The guidance counselors, they have all these other students that they have, so they're overwhelmed. And
in high school, the guidance counselor is just to get you into college.
That's it.
But the point is, there should be a course on
learning.
what is your passion,
Yes.
and helping you find the confidence inside yourself to then pursue that passion.
Yes. How do I become unstoppable, and what is it that I can do in college, learn in college, that will help me in my life? And you know what? The unstoppable, the range of becoming unstoppable is dependent on each person. Not everyone will become an Oprah, and not everyone is going to be a Donald Trump. And not everybody.
Not everybody wants to be
Nobody
that.
wants to be. But in your life, each one of us will have to determine, this is the kind of house that I want, a 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, and this is the kind of family I want, but most of all, the kind of work I want to do to impact the world, and the imprint that I want to leave on earth is this.
So your first burst of self-confidence was that you made it to the U.S. And what other things built your confidence?
Graduating from college,
With a great record.
With a great record. I have the associate degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, and doctorate degree, and I have all 4 degrees. And when I achieved all 4, I said, whoa, me, the average jack on the fence, could do this. And that's why I say anybody else can do it only if they make up their mind what it is that they want to do with their life. I have a quote that I say, you cannot mess with a made-up mind. When somebody makes up their mind, nobody can mess with it. So that was one way of building my confidence.
So one of the things was, you had from young childhood, you wanted to be a doctor. So that was on your bucket list.
Bucket list.
So that people would call you Dr. Stem, which is like Dr. Ruth or whatever. It's actually a very affectionate, not an affected kind of term at all, okay?
Yeah. And then I published a book, and people actually bought the books and read the books and gave feedback that they could relate.
Was that your memoir, your first one, or what was your first book?
My first one was The Power of Prayer. I was raised in a Christian family. We believe in God, and as with a praying mother and a praying father and a praying family, we always believe that God has more for you than you can ever imagine. There's a reason why you were created to be on this earth. And when you find out what that reason is, and you can do that, knowing that you can, it's already yours. It's a gift that you have within you, then you become unstoppable.
So were there times when you were discouraged and you went back to your faith?
A lot of times. A lot of times I was discouraged. Things were not they were not going the way that I had dreamed. You dream this big, and you think, oh my God, as soon as I publish a book, people are going to buy it, and I'll have
and
money.
then nothing happens, because I've had a book
happens,
published, and
right?
nothing happens. Yeah,
Nothing happens. And then I realized that not only do I need my faith, because then you lose the income for one. Relationships go sour, and they don't work out the way that you want them to work out. You have to go somewhere and have something that you can hold on to. So I went back to my faith. Not only do I go back to my faith, and that's the difference that is, most people need to understand. Praying alone and believing in God alone and having faith alone will not give you what it is that you want in life.
Absolutely.
You have to act on it.
Right.
You have to take risks. You have to go out there and learn something new. You have to
and one of the
read.
things is, you can't let your fear stop you, right? You go through the fear. You can't get rid of it. It's there, but you do it anyway.
Because knowledge is power. Once you know something that can help you sustain, because you know better, when you know better, you do better. And when you know better, you know that, I can be afraid, I can be fearful. But because of what I know and what I have seen other people do, I can do it too. And my thing is, if I strive enough and do more and become more, then the children that I coach and counsel, the parents, the women that I coach and counsel, they will look at my life, they will look at me and say, you know what, she's right. If she can do it coming from Zimbabwe, from Kambuzuma, in that town, then I can do it. And that's the legacy that I want to leave, that they can say, look at all that she did.
All right, now if I wanted to buy one of your books, where do I go?
You can go to www.amazon.com.
Oh, you're on Amazon.
I'm on Amazon.com. You can also go to Barnes & Nobles. You can buy the books at Barnes & Nobles. But most of all, it's even better if you have a conference, if you have a meeting, to call me, contact me, book me to come and be the speaker, the guest speaker. I'll bring all my books there. I will sign them, but I will get a moment to hug the people that are buying my books.
Yes.
And that's priceless.
And so do you have, how would you know what your phone number is?
My phone number, okay. So my website is www.drstemspeaks.com. The phone number is 781-254-1602. Email is easy, drstem14@gmail.com.
You are now going to start your own series of conferences.
Yes.
And that's sort of the big step you're taking?
Unstoppable, unstoppable, unstoppable. That's the word that I'm going with. So the seminars are called Unstoppable, Free and Fearless, because there's another book that's called Unstoppable, Living a Free and Fearless Life. So the seminars are Unstoppable, Free and Fearless for teenagers and young adolescents, young adults.
And you're going to have one in the Salem area?
And I'll have one in the Boston area because I am relocating. I'll be living in Orlando, Florida, in a little nice place called Lake Nona. So I'll be flying in from Florida to bring it back to Boston.
And when is this going to be? Do you have a date?
Next year.
All right.
So at this point, I have a publicist who's working on it. She's going to be, putting together the seminars for me. So I'll bring it in for the teenagers and young adults in June, as soon as school come out.
So we can go to your website.
You can go to
and find out when this workshop is. Are your books under the name Dr. Stem, or are they under?
Dr. Stem.
So Dr. Stem is all you have to remember.
That's my brand, Dr. Stem. Be encouraged.
Okay.
That's my brand, so I encourage people. But if you just go on Google and put Dr. Stem books, you'll see all my links. I have a TV show. It's called The Dr. Stem Show, where I encourage and empower women and children who I work with. So I also have that podcast that you mentioned. You'll see me reading quotes and doing doses of motivation and encouragement on those pertaining to life. So Dr. Stem books is good enough. YouTube, if you go on YouTube, I'm all over YouTube. I have, YouTube videos, I have audios on there to encourage and empower people so that they can help boost their confidence for life.
Okay, well, let me just say this. If you feel that you're stoppable or that you're stuck, which also happens, that's a form of being stopped, and you would like to sort of get unstuck, go to YouTube, look for Dr. Stem, read her books, and maybe think about signing up for this conference next year. But I find that some of these books can really make a difference in reordering and in getting your head out of the box it's in. And one of the boxes is, that's what my mom told me, or that's what my past dictates. And if you're going to be unstoppable, then you need to move beyond that and leave that behind and move into this unstoppable mode. And that listening to these, being encouraged by Dr. Stem is what you need. That's my prescription from the good doctor here. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to meet you again.
Thank you.
And to get to know you and to be able to give such good advice to my viewers.
Thank you.
Cause the problems can all be solved with dedication and a little resolve. Obstacles slowly dissolve when we all just get involved. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change